brokered by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo in mid-2023 paved the way for Raila Odinga's candidacy for the African Union Commission AUC. Now, the deal, struck away from State House Mombasa, saw President William Ruto and Raila come to an agreement, with Obasanjo vouching for Raila's AUC bid. This truce also marked the end of the Azimio anti-government protest that had rocked the country earlier that year. Since then, Raila, with government backing, has tirelessly lobbied across the African continent, even joining President Ruto on a trip to China to rally support from African heads of state. This report is by Apollo Kamau.
How are you, sir? Welcome to Kenya.
A closely guarded Mombasa meeting between President William Ruto, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo in July 2023, at the height of the 2022 post-election crisis, gave birth to Odinga's African Union Commission chairmanship bid. In the secret meeting that also midwifed national dialogue on the post-election crisis, requiring Kenya Kwanza and Azimio to nominate 5 members each to the talks team. What followed was a flurry of meetings, starting off with a crucial meeting at Odinga's current home, after his longtime friend Obasanjo paid him a visit, during which Odinga declared his interest in the AUC top seat.
Today I want to make it public that I'm ready, yes, to go for the chairmanship of the African Union.
Another crucial meeting with Uganda President Yoweri Museveni at his Kisozi farm in Uganda in late February 2024, where President Ruto and Odinga were captured together with Museveni, amplified the government's commitment to back Odinga's bid for the AUC chairmanship amid political talk at home of an Odinga-Ruto handshake, and whether Odinga will quit local politics to concentrate on the AUC campaigns.
I'm not going to be very active in Kenyan politics henceforth, as I continue now to focus my attention on the Continental campaign.
With the birth of the new bromance, President Ruto and Odinga hit the ground running, popularizing his AUC contest, saying he fits the bill, given his experience as a former envoy of the African Union on infrastructure, which he quit under controversial circumstances after Ruto took over power.
Si tulikubaliana kwamba tunaenda kumuombea ili awe kiongozi wa Afrika. Nikiongea na nyinyi saa hizi, juzi alikuwa kule Ivory Coast, jana amekuwa kule Senegal, leo ako kule Nigeria akitafuta kura ya kuwa kiongozi wa bara la Afrika. Nyinyi watu wa Kenya mtamuombea? Mtamuombea? Wale wanasema tuombea kwamba nione kwa mkono.
President Ruto, for the first time, courtesy of his handshake with Odinga, set foot in Kisumu's Kondele area in August 2024 after the 2022 election campaigns, flanked by his then-deputy Rigathi Gachagua on a 4-day tour that saw Ruto capitalize on his handshake with Odinga and Ruto allies hinting at plans of forming a mega alliance involving ODM and UDA.
Tutashirikiana na serikali kwa mambo mazuri yote. Mambo ya kasoro tutakosoa. Lakini hiyo haimaanishi ya kwamba kuna watu ambao wametengenezea upinzani hapa duniani. Sisi sasa vile mimi naona mambo ilienda Migori jana, nitashikilia tu hii mambo upinzani kwa hii mwaka 3 inakuja. Baada ya mwaka 3 hii mnaweza tafuta mtu ya kuachia.
Wacha tuangalie mbele, tusiendelee na hii mambo ya euphoria ya kusema Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto akienda basi sisi nini baadaye.
Si mimi nilikuwa deputy party leader wa ODM. Si mimi ndio nilichangia baba akawa prime minister. Sasa mimi nauliza nyinyi, baba akikuja pia kunisaidia ili tuweze kuunganisha Kenya, kuna makosa?
Odinga's quest for the AUC seat was not just a coincidence, but a calculated political move by Ruto to clear a major stumbling block for his re-election in 2027, which political pundits term as a masterstroke. Political observers hold that Odinga will offer the much-needed political support Ruto needs in 2027 after Ruto lost the Mount Kenya region to his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
Sasa ile nchi inachomeka, Uhuru ndiye alinipiga mimi simu. Uhuru akaniambia mimi, tafuta bwana Ruto, ongea na yeye. Kenya ikichomeka, hatutakuwa na nchi nyingine. Mpaka hii tuzime hii moto, watu waketi chini waendelee waliwane. William ndiye akanitafuta. Na mimi nikaongea na yeye wazi kabisa. Mimi unajua mambo yangu, mimi sificheki mambo. Nasema direct. Magazeti hapa wanaandika sijui nini Raila na Ruto handshake, hakuna handshake. Hakuna handshake. Kile tulisema, mimi niliongea na Ruto nikamwambia shida iko hapa.
Raila Odinga for the African Union, for Africa, for our future.
In August 2024, President Ruto demonstrated how crucial Odinga's candidacy is by officially endorsing his candidacy at State House, where he invited his fellow East African heads of state, who also endorsed Odinga.
And I am here to support the candidature of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga on behalf of Uganda, because he is a convinced Pan-Africanist.
In September 2024, Odinga accompanied Ruto to China in yet another pivotal moment for Odinga's campaign, where the president introduced him to African heads of state on the sidelines of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit.
The dynamics of the African continent are the ones that are going to determine, because the presidents and prime ministers are the ones to vote. And they will be voting on three things. One, what do they think of Kenya? Would their interest be jeopardized by having Kenyan at the top? What do they think of Ruto as a person? Then what do they think of Raila and his record? So if all those three factors favor Raila, then they will vote for Raila. If they favor the other candidate, then he will lose. So it's a 50-50, and he should expect that he might lose. But if he loses, he's here.
Backed by state machinery and East Africa heads of state, a campaign secretariat led by Foreign Affairs PS Dr. Korir Sing'oei and former Kenyan ambassador to the US Elkanah Odembo, Odinga in November 2024 stepped up his campaign by launching his Continental bid in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he sold his Pan-African agenda in the race to succeed outgoing AUC chairperson Musa Faki in February 2025. Since then, Odinga has been crisscrossing the continent, meeting several heads of state in the continent's regional blocs with the hope of outdoing his main challenger, Djibouti's Foreign Affairs Minister, Mahamoud Yusuf. Apart from East and Central Africa, Odinga has toured Francophone countries and the Arab North, touring 6 African countries in West Africa, starting off with Benin, Ghana, Togo, Gambia, Senegal, and Nigeria in the crucial ECOWAS bloc, meeting presidents of Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal.
I think this was the most strategic thing to be done. The only thing that was void is needed to be done on day one, because the president cannot go anywhere and everywhere with Odinga. But Raila need to touch base with every head of state.
Don't go for the group. Isolate and attack. And solidify, like Southern Africa, SADC countries. Ensure none escapes from the camp.
Odinga was later to meet his 2 competitors, Mahamoud Yusuf of Djibouti and Richard James of Madagascar, in a crucial debate titled Mujadala Africa for the African continent, to sell his bid.
But we're going to insist that Africa must get 2 permanent seats in the UN Security Council. This is only fair, because we are a continent of 55 sovereign nations. We cannot be excluded when Europe has got 3 permanent representations on the Security Council. Permanent representation with the veto powers is a must for Africa.
This is after Mauritius candidate Anil Guyan dropped in favor of Odinga after the country's new Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam spoke to Ruto on the phone, endorsing Odinga's candidature. Earlier in August, Odinga met Fawzia Yusuf of Somalia, who had expressed interest only for Fawzia to drop from the race.
How are you? Good. Karibu. Asante.
After the debate in December, Odinga invaded his competitor's bedroom, Mahamoud Yusuf, after meeting Central Africa President Faustin Touadera, a key leader in the Francophone region, in the company of Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, who had accompanied Odinga.
So do you support the diplomat, or do you support the experienced leader, which has a track record?
I think the Kenya candidate offers more of the political outlook. The other candidate will appear to be more the technician. And whether the job needs a technician or a political operator, I think it needs both.
Odinga is campaigning on a platform of 8 pillars: economic transformation, intra-Africa trade, financial independence, gender equity and equality, climate action, peace and security, agriculture, and continental integration.
And Tanzania says, Baba anatosha, achaguliwe.
He is rooting for Africa's financial independence while focusing on a more united, transformed continent, and pledged during the debate to root for Africa to get 2 seats at the United Nations Security Council.
How is Addis? Thank you, my friend. Welcome.
On Christmas Eve, December 2024, President Ruto threw another spanner in the works after he met the outgoing chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki, in his capacity as the AU champion for institutional reforms at his Kilgoris home in Narok. Apart from the reforms, the two are said to have discussed the forthcoming transition, when Faki will hand over to either Odinga or Yusuf of Djibouti, the 2 frontrunners in the AUC race. Apul Kamau, TV47.